Folks, welcome inside the Paris Sea Palace, high above 3773 East Broadway. This is a live edition of the Jake Feinberg Show. Coming to you on Power Talk. Please go to our website, powertalk.live. Download our free app to your smartphone so you can stream all of our live local programming, including Solomon on Blast, the Jim Parisi Show, and yours truly, the Jake Feinberg Show. Can't thank you enough for making this part of your day today. And I will be very clear, I actually don't. I've done probably over 3,500 primary source radio interviews with the Cats, but I really don't like it when people solicit me. Oftentimes it goes completely if people ask me, hey, let's do an interview, or would you, I oftentimes say no. I mean, Spirit, I don't even respond. It's just in my head. I'm saying, if we're meant to cross paths, if the spirits are meant to cross, then that's how it will be. But my next guest reached out to me, and I knew the name was familiar because I collect vinyl, and I knew that he had been a leader on records. But I started to look at his entire lineage of his music. I said, I might make an exception for this one, and sure enough, we get a chance. I get a chance today to talk to a real a real master, someone who's still learning. He's been creating new musical vocabulary on the bandstand for the last half century, and he was a studio shark for many years. But he really, really cut his teeth with some of the most venerable cats, and some of the baddest, earliest cats to make it out to Los Angeles from the breadbasket and the southern bastion of this country. And it is what a high honor. Marc Benno, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thank you, Jake. That's pretty moving right there. I tell you, I was so excited about your interview with Jimmy Karstein.
Oh my God!
I had to get in touch with you because I love him so much, and that interview was so dead on. It was so great.
Can I ask you something? I want to ask you, Ben, Mark. How did you?
Yeah.
Did you just stumble across that randomly? Because I still Karstein can't even. He doesn't even have an email address. I still haven't been able to get a CD. I haven't been able to get a CD to him yet. I want him to be able to hear the interview. It was magical.
He's not talking to anybody. I don't know what happened. He's one of the most beautiful cats that ever lived. But something, and I don't like to talk.
No. We don't have to go there.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway.
My question was how who hipped you to that interview, or did you just stumble across it?
Yeah. God damn, to my knowledge, I stumbled across it, man. I can't remember how I found.
Well, that's fine. I mean, the point is, this is where I wanted to start. I really wanted to ask you, in your mind, because you straddled both sides. I'd like you to talk to the worldwide audience about musicianship, the difference between musicianship and craftsmanship.
Okay, I might take that.
Go wherever you go. You riff on wherever you want. I'm just saying there are certain cats that you wind up coming in, and you are a studio cat, and they just tell you this is what you're going to play. So they become a craftsman, right? They design what is the producer wants or what the artist wants, as opposed to somebody who has musicianship, who can really. Do you see a delineation between the two of them? Just take that anywhere you want.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good. Okay, the first thing is off topic, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah.
The difference between a musician and an entertainer. Entertainer loves to have the camera on him and gets up and does stuff, and people who don't know what's happening anyway, they jump up and down because he's jumping up and down. They love him. Then you have an artist who really doesn't want to sort of be in front of people, very creative, and comes off with a great show for those who have the ear for it. Now, your specific question, though, excuse me, is very interesting, because now you come into the studio and you're going to have a guy that is told what to do, not necessarily told, but he's got the chart written out completely, or there is no chart and you do your thing. Now, I have an appreciation for both of those things in two different ways. If a guy comes into the studio and he has an open chart, nothing on it,
right,
maybe just a chord chart,
right,
you got you got a producer that doesn't know how to make records. And I've been through this, he's really good with people. He puts together some great personalities, not necessarily even knowing their musical styles exactly, doesn't know enough about music, but he's a businessman who is good with people. You put them in there, and they do their thing. They play whatever they play. Now, you have a one-time performance. It'll never come out the same way again, but this happened to me.
Oh, no, you're spot on. I mean, this is spot on.
Okay, but it doesn't sound like the artist. You know, I'm a guy like Buddy Holly. I'm a Texas guy who needs to have friends and people that know me and identify with my style, and we really make a Marc Benno record that's got the character of Marc Benno. I've never made that record, but I have incredible players on my record, but they still didn't deliver the Marc Benno sound, so I don't like it. Okay, now the second guy, let's just put a name on it, Phil Spector. You come in, you are going to make a Phil Spector record. He's going to tell you, I want you to go over and kind of play, okay, that's pretty good. I don't know anything about music, but could you do it again and play? And then the guy says, well, you mean you'd like me to kind of sing it more of a minor style? Yeah, that's what I mean. So he may not really, or he may, I don't know him personally, but he knows the sound he wants, and he is apparently, I would think, a great engineer. I met him briefly through Leon, and I'll never forget because he signed an autograph on a picture, and his autograph was so big you couldn't see the picture anymore. So I thought, this guy's impressed with himself, man.
Big time.
Anyway, and I was impressed with the records he made. I love any producer that knows how to make records. When I go to produce somebody, I know what I want. I know the music I want. I hear the guy singing, the girl singing. I know her style, and I'm pretty much going to try to get her something that she loves because I think I'm a hard ear. If I like it, I believe they'll like it. So, anyway, I hope that answers your questions because
this is brilliant. I mean, well, I just want to play a tune for you and see if see if you can nail it, and then we'll come back and break it down, see if it falls into what we were just talking about.
Sounds good.
Well, should she finish school?
Her evenings with the others leave the world pool. So she stays right in
That was probably a trip down memory lane.
I don't know. You tricked me on that one. I'm not sure if I've ever heard. I thought I'd heard every record ever made, But I
Well, no,
don't know
and
about
I don't want to be clear. That
That's I
and
don't
I
know
want to be
about
clear.
that.
That is a Marc Benno. I mean, you are fully on that record. I'm not just playing you random
What?
tunes.
Impossible. What the heck was it?
Well, I'm going to need background on it. Hopefully, you can color it in. Daughter of Albion.
Oh, that's the Daughters of Albion.
Eh,
Okay.
all the
okay,
tracks,
okay.
all the tracks are available on YouTube. That one was called Lady Fingers, and this was cut.
Okay.
I mean, can you take us? Now, I just want you to. This band is cosmic.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'd like. I mean, I believe if I'm correct, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Karstein's basically, the cat that Keltner, Keltner and I've done 4 interviews, and the guy that Keltner pays homage to all the time is a cat named Chuck Blackwell. So it was Chuck and Jesse Ed Davis and Benno in this band, Daughters of Albion. I mean, break it down. I've never heard about this.
Okay. There was a guy who came over and met Leon somehow or another. I think he had some good weed or something, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say stuff like that.
No, you can. This is you can curse if you want. It doesn't matter.
Well, our generation, if you weren't getting high, then we weren't talking to you anyway. It was very unusual that you didn't, and it was more commonplace that you did. Anyway, Greg Dempsey. He was a guy about 6'3", skinny as a green bean, and he had a girlfriend named Kathy that was absolutely beautiful. Real straight blonde hair, about 5'9". She was a knockout, and really nice, rosy cheek, beautiful girl. And okay, let me just. I try to be honest, and a lot of times I'm like Don Rickles, but here it comes anyway.
Do it.
I didn't like them. I didn't know what the hell they were doing. I didn't get it. I mean, I like them personally, but I thought, what is this stuff, And just recently, I started listening to a song that Leon picked up because Leon liked Greg. Greg was a genius. I'm telling you, this guy had a vocabulary through the roof, and he used it along with logic that was like a Martian. And Leon was already on Mars when they met.
Right.
So it was like Jupiter and Mars got together. And they would go into talking for 20 hours, on and on, all night and all day. And they started this album. Now, one of the songs that they wrote that we recorded, the Rocking Horse Brigade, So Lone, So Afraid, do you recall the name of that Asylum choir song that we did that Greg and Leon wrote?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Well, no, I was born. I was birthed in '78, so this album was made 10 years before I was born. But no, I mean, go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you sound old, man.
No, I'm an old soul, brother, and I've been interviewing all the cats. And I mean, listen, if I'm interviewing Jimmy Karstein, I mean, yeah, it's going deep.
Right.
Yeah.
He is. He's a very cool customer.
Dude, what a deep cat,
the thing
man.
about it is, one of the songs that Greg and Leon wrote, and I wish I had the Asylum Choir album. I'm going in here now while I'm talking to you. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to tell you that.
Well, I want to know the name of it too. Yeah.
Okay, because it is a badass. Revealed somewhat through this song because he had changes that were so beautiful. It's called The Death of the Flowers.
Death of the Flowers. Oh, this is great.
Yeah, track 13 on the Asylum Choir 2 album, the one with the blue drawing on the front of me and Leon. Or it's a photograph that they airbrushed. And it's called the Leon Russell, Marc Benno,
Death of the Flowers. Yeah,
anyway, Death of the Flowers. I recently been going over and over, and I thought, my God, the lyrics are incredible.
Well, let's listen to it, and then we'll come back because I got it queued up right here. All right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, let's hit it up.
Okay, Jake.
Marc, are you saying that you just kind of rediscovered this tune after. I mean, you're playing. I mean that's totally new, and I don't pretend to be a musicologist because I'm not. I'm pretty stuck in my own rut. But it's like that is way out, man. Way out.
Yeah. Leon really never got into music any more than he did with the Asylum choir. You know, I just think that...
Can you unpack what you mean by that? Like, you're talking about getting down. You mean really musically, he really dug in at that point with the Asylum?
Yeah, you know, I've been trying to think about myself and what I've done through the years, and I'm some kind of than Leon. He was my brother's age, and they had that generation going of a little bit of beatnik, and Leon was caught in between that, although I don't know exactly how much older he was than me, 4 or 5. But anyway, the point being is he's not the only guy that I ever met that I thought, well, this guy is so talented, and a real talented artist needs somebody to get close to him and tell them how talented they are. And for that artist to be able to know this guy can hear me. He knows what he's seeing, and if he thinks I'm that good, that's a big enough audience for me. That'll do it. And so I lit him on fire. I was like, what are you worried about the Beatles or Bob Dylan for?
Right.
You're more talented than both of them.
You do you do hear, like, it's so great because I'm sorry to cut you. It's just you do hear elements of that. You know, everybody begs, borrows, and steals, but then they put their own individual stamp on it. So you do hear some of that airiness to it. But go ahead. I didn't want to cut. Keep riffing on that.
No, you're absolutely right. Einstein, they asked him what was the secret to his genius, and he said the ability to hide your sources.
Oh, I love it, dude.
That's genius. And if they don't know who your sources are, then you get all the credit. But anyway, Leon's sources were definitely how could it not be the Beatles? We were trying to sort of outdo Sgt. Pepper's. Once we heard Sgt. Pepper's, Leon said, well, the story goes back further than that. I would have to back up and tell the Asylum choir story a little bit more. But once we decided that he and I were going to make recordings of these songs that were written, because nobody else, he said, was going to record these. I said, well, that's true. So let's go. I'll engineer when you play, and you engineer the rest of it when I play. He said, well, that's no problem. I got to teach you some stuff. And I said, I'm ready. So I went to college, man. He took me through engineering, music,
wow,
everything musically. He was my musical father. And anyway, I guess we better get back to
I guess this is. You made a statement that musically he was more locked in with the Asylum than he ever was in any other.
Okay, and that gets back to what I was saying, that he had somebody that he connected with, which is me, and it brought him to the point of confidence where he was on fire to do his thing, because he had been recording Gary Lewis and the Playboys, This Diamond Ring. He played everything on it. He wrote the song. I said, Leon, I love that. I want you to make a record like that on me. He said, well, okay, I'll make one on you, but it's so bubblegum, man. It's
right.
so bubblegum.
Yeah,
I said, Leon, that is so hard to do. These guys who make these bubblegum records are geniuses. Excuse me, Jake. Half the time, they're doing something that's happy, and they're not necessarily happy in Mary Poppins. They're just making a record because they got the genius to know how to do it. I'm not sure if all of them are like that, but Leon's like that. So in the studio he goes. First record he makes is on the back side of the group that, it's a long story, but one of the group's leaders got the money together for Leon to make a single on this group I was in out of Dallas called The Outcasts. On the flip side of the single, he said, does anybody in the group write songs? I said, hey, I got 100 songs. He said, what do you mean you got 100 songs? I was okay, I got 98 songs. He said, well, how come you got so many songs? I said, hell if I know. I've been writing songs since I was 11 years old. Well, play me one. He said, I like that song. And you got a great voice. I said, shit, I've never heard that before. Not from anybody like him. Let's go. Now he's given me, he started out that way. He's given me all the confidence in the world. And we did a record called I'll Be Thinking of You. If you've ever heard it, it sounds like the Beatles. It's so sweet and bubblegum.
Yeah.
I just love it. It sounded like a hit record to me. I don't know. But it was it almost could have been. But it was the B-side. It doesn't matter, Jake. But the fact goes, desperate to survive. And I went out to Hollywood. I had no idea what I was going to do to survive. I'd never paid attention to anything except music and girls. And so I went upstairs of his house, Sky Hill, which everybody was there, sitting on the couch downstairs, just about at all times, was Jesse Davis. I can see him now. Jesse Ed Davis, Chuck Blackwell, Carl Radle.
Oh my God! The big Comanche.
Dr. John would come by pretty often.
This is awesome.
Mac Rabenack.
Oh my God! This is great.
She'd bring me in. Then all of a sudden, one day I came home and this guy's singing on piano. I said, God damn, that guy's fabulous, singing like Ray Charles. Well, it was the band. The band had come over there, and Robbie and what's the drummer's name? I should know him of all people.
Who are you talking about?
For the drummer for the band.
Levon.
Drummer.
Levon.
Yeah, Levon.
Hold on,
anyway,
Levon. This is
the piano player.
And Richard Manuel. Richard Manuel.
Oh, he was like an angel.
Dude, the guy was.
God, he
was. Oh my God! I've been listening to. It's just so funny because I was just cranking. After the band disbanded, Rick Danko and Richard Manuel had a band, and I was just listening.
Yeah.
I was listening to King Harvest Has Surely Come. What a voice on that guy, man!
Oh my God, man, he was so heavenly, and he went on up there. I mean, he's one of those suicide cases or something.
Well, no, it was. I just want to be clear. Leon had a house, and everybody would and everybody would Jesse Ed. And all the cats were coming. Mac Rebenack and guys from the band were coming to hang, and then you.
Bill Spector came through there. Mm-hmm.
So how did? Yeah, go. No. I'm just curious. Continue. You wound up like you knew Leon. I guess you were born in Dallas, right?
Yeah, I never knew him at all. There was a guy in my band named Wally Wilson, and Wally was a hustler. He was a good-looking guy, hustle with chicks, hustle gigs. His father owned a used auto place on, it's important what that's, Ross Avenue in Dallas. That's a real tough area of Dallas. And he had, I wish I could remember the name of that auto place. It was great. I may think of it later. It didn't matter. So Wally was able to get somehow or another a Volkswagen bus, one of those that was blue, classic, when they first came out. I don't know what year it is. I'm going to say 63. And so then he has the logo painted on the bus. Well, he reads an article in the Dallas paper that this guy from El Paso, Tommy Garrett, is making demos at this studio called Pam's Jingle Studio. I thought it was his girlfriend Pam's place. Mm-hmm. I didn't know. It didn't matter to Wally. He read this article, or his mother said, Wally, look at this. You like music? Look at this article in the Dallas Morning News. So the next thing you know, Wally says, well, hell, I'm going to find out where he's staying, and I'll just camp out in front of his hotel room until he comes out. And by God, he did it. He was down there on Central. I don't know if he sat there a day or two, but he was there. And when Leon walked out the door, he says, okay, what do you want? He says, man, I want to make a record. He said, well, you can make a record, Leon says, but it's going to cost you. And I think Leon was just kidding. And he says to him, I need $10,000 to make a record. And Wally says, I'll be right back. And so
He really wanted to make a record. He wanted to make a record, man. He really wanted to do it.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, see, I think at the time, Leon was something to do with Sonny and Cher.
Yeah.
Because they were coming to the auditorium. You might know about that. I'm not sure if he... Anyway, he was associated with Sonny and Cher in this article, and he had done a Gary Lewis and the Playboy record and had gold records that were being played across America. You know that. It was popular. He made some big records on Gary Lewis that really took off. What I mean by big is they were popular.
Right.
And so... Yeah, and so this is what Wally wanted. He wanted to be a star, you know, and so, hell, I said I do too. I called the Studio Club, and Jimmy Vaughn and the Chessmen would play there, and then Stevie would come sit in with Jimmy, and then a block away was another club that had a group called the Marksmen, and they all went to St. Mark's, a school for boys in Dallas. And that was, the Marksmen was the name of the band, and it was Steve Miller and Boz Scaggs. I would walk down the block during our breaks and hear Boz Scaggs and singing, and then Steve Miller playing guitar, and I went, these guys are... I mean,
hold on for a second. I want to back up. Hold on. You're talking again. We're in the great city of. Where are we at right now in the country? In Dallas? Are we
I'm
still
in Dallas, Texas.
Okay. No, I want to be clear about something.
All in Dallas.
Okay. No. So okay. I've interviewed Ben Sidran, piano player from Wisconsin, and Skaggs and Miller were in a band called the Ardells up there. That was
I don't remember that.
Okay. So I'm trying to get an understanding of what.
I think this is before anything, man. This is the first band they were ever
No,
in.
I got to. Okay, this is insane. What year is what? We got a year on this?
63.
Okay, totally before. But anyway, so they were there at a boys.
Way before. Yeah. In 63, everybody was still in high school. But I said to myself, I got to get in with these guys because they're going somewhere. I don't have enough talent. But I know, and I'd go home and tell my mother, I want to tell you something. These guys are better than the Beatles. And then I heard these guys on the street, they're better than the Righteous Brothers. My mother says, oh, you're always so carried away. Why don't you get some confidence in yourself and quit talking such big shotism about all these guys? I'm not kidding you. This is the best talent in America. These guys are the greatest blues rock guy. And then this guy over here, blah, 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 blah. Oh, shut up, Mark. I said, oh, God, I'm not kidding. So anyway, I followed that lead, and I said, "Now this is in North Dallas. This is not in."
This is were they going? Were they going to the all boys school?
Steve Miller and Boz Scaggs were.
Oh my! That is beyond. Vaughn, this is so.
Vaughn,
yeah, this is.
Now wait a minute. Jimmy Vaughn is not going to school.
No, I was talking about Boz and Steve. That's what I care. Yeah, that's what I heard. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, that's what you want to know about. Yeah. Well, no. They were at an all-boys school that was a very expensive school. The story I had heard later on was that Les Paul had a heart attack, and Steve Miller's father worked on him, kept him alive as a doctor. I don't know about that one. If it's true, however Les Paul got over Steve Miller's house is what happened. And he showed Steve how to overdub because Steve was the only guy that had any money, and Boz, he came from money, that they bought him two tracks or maybe two tracks. He was able to overdub and get that harmony on his voice, and we're only about 16, 17 years old. He already formulated that sound, and I thought, God, I heard that demo, and I went, how does he sing harmony with himself like that? Well, it's because he could hear harmonies.
Wow.
It was a natural.
Wow.
But, his voice was exact. He had no problem with it, and all his records were just like that first demo. And I don't know where to go with all this.
No, and by the way, are you talking about Boz singing? Who's singing?
No. they'd had some harmony, but basically the lead singer was Boz Scaggs. And Steve stepped up to the mic and sang something that was kind of poppy, and I liked it. And I thought, I like him too. He's good too, man. But Boz Scaggs was the lead singer of the Marksmen.
The Marksmen.
That was
Marc
the
Benno
name of
is.
their-
So I mean,
Yeah.
but I want to, because we're going to definitely have to do like several chapters of these interviews. But I want to be clear. Ultimately, the hook that got you to Southern California, because you weren't part of the North Tulsa scene with Karstein and Blackwell
No, I wasn't.
and
Not at
Leon.
all.
So
No.
how'd you get to LA?
Not at all. I walked.
You took a bicycle.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, wait. You're asking the right questions. Be in music school, and my mother paying for all of it. Please go be a doctor or a lawyer. If you have to, you can be an accountant. You know, Jewish kid going up to Denton. And I'm like, I'm not doing any of that, man. I heard the 1 o'clock jazz band, and Johnny Carson is coming there and picking these guys out of this 1 o'clock lab band and taking them to Hollywood to be the Tonight Show band.
Oh, this is bad.
I said, I knew they were great. I knew that Louis Bustos guy was fantastic. That's the best sax player I ever heard. I knew it. And then Hollywood, you know, that was my first connection, hearing that Johnny Carson was going back to Hollywood with these guys. So I never went to school. I just go hear the jazz band all day. And okay, why in the hell did I bring this up?
Well, no,
Oh,
you're trying to get to LA. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm playing poker one night. There's booze, there's chips, there's cigarettes, there's everything out in the middle of the table. Everything's going wild. And this guy walks in, Wally Wilson. He says, "Hey, man." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Listen, I got a band, and we're going to Hollywood right now. We need a lead singer." And I thought, no, I don't think I want to do that, because I got Alan here. He's my bass player. This is my current wife's brother. He was my best friend, and we had a band called Marc, Benno and the Victors. Well, I was true to my band. I'm not going to leave my band. And he turns to me, he says, "Hey, man, if it was me, I'd go." I went, "Oh, really?"
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Yeah, hell yeah." He said, "Hollywood, man. If it was me, I'd go." I said, "Okay, I'm ready to go." He said, "Well, the car's outside. We're leaving now. Are you ready?" I said, "You damn right. Just a minute." And I don't know if I got a toothbrush or not. I only put 3 things in a bag of 4. I can't remember, but I didn't pack and take my time. I got in a 63 Chevy, and we floorboarded it to L.A.
Wow.
You know what? I took a trip to L.A. maybe 20 years later, and it took me 3 or 4 days, and I stopped in Truth or Consequences, and I said, I didn't know that you could get to L.A. in less than 24 hours, because we didn't even stop to pee.
Right,
We were just flying down the highway. "Here, you bring a bottle to pee in, because we got to get there." I said, "God, are you on a time schedule or something?"
Even if you're not, it's still good. It's still good to bring a bottle to pee in. But no, I'm with you, man. But you guys were totally amped up. You were amped up to get there, man. You were on fire.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They were really so amped up that I caught the tail end of it. I didn't know what was going on. Now, you see, what was going on was that Wally had slept out in front of, back up to the Holiday Inn, gone down there and talked Snuff Garrett into meeting Leon Russell, and Leon did not agree to do it. He didn't want to meet anybody. But he told him, "If you get the $10,000 check to me, I'll tell you how to get in touch with me." So Wally's dad got him a check for $10,000, and he got the address in exchange for $10,000. 7709 Sky Hill, North Hollywood, California. And then he put the date on there, when to be there, which hell if I know. And there we went. So we got there, and we're all crowded up on this porch, up a kind of a little grassy yard, a real straight kind of neighborhood, but pretty expensive neighborhood, mid range. No big millionaires out.
No, but
North
I
Hollywood.
mean,
Yeah.
it's really nice stuff. Yeah, I dig middle
At the
class.
time, $150,000 house at the time.
Oh,
Everything was overpriced, and you could buy that same house for maybe 75 or 80 in Dallas. So it was middle upper, and we're all crowded on this porch. There was 4, maybe 5 of us, and we're all packed on that church, like on the porch, like sardines. And this guy opens the door, and I was like, "Wow, this guy!" We're trying to get our hair over our ears, and this guy had hair down to his waist or whatever, and he looked like he was not joking around. He said, "Okay, come on in." I was like, "Whoa, wow, welcome to Hollywood. What is?" He was very calm, very kind of intelligent, and very what's the word for it? You know the word for it.
I'm sorry.
Intimidating.
Okay, but hold on. I just want to.
Intimidating.
The call. We lost you for a second there. Who are we talking about? Are we talking about Leon or who are we talking
Leon
about?
Russell.
Okay, so Leon was very.
Russell.
He was very calm, very intelligent. Go ahead, riff on that again because we lost.
Oh yeah, calm, cool, collective, and intimidating. He intimidated the hell out of us by being so calm. He was in a different plateau, and we couldn't reach him. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew all of a sudden we better be quiet rather than yeah. He stopped all that bullshit and just took the conversation to a not depressing, but kind of depressing, but let's get down on it and do something here,
I did.
That kind of delivery. And so I just wondered what happened then. Not too much happened other than he said, "Okay, all right, well, we've got a song that we've designed for you guys." And me and Bill wrote it. And Bill Boatman, who I've seen recently, I went back to Tulsa and I saw Boatman, Karstein, Markham. We'll go on to that in a minute. That's a sidebar there.
Yeah, we're all. It's fine.
Anyway.
It's a stream of consciousness thing going on. Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's so hard for me to put the pieces together. The chronological order is kind of mixed.
It's
up
all
for
an
me, but
oval. It's
as
all an
we talk-
oval. It's like the one. It's like the downbeat. It's an oval. It'll all come back around again, just like these. Okay, so don't even sweat it. But the point is,
Yeah, I don't know if we're on the first or the third verse.
Well, yeah, or the third. I don't even know. But at this point, you're on fire. So just keep. The point is, you got to.
All right, thank you, Jake.
How did you? This is the question. When did you actually? Because I've been on this journey 7 years, and some of my peers who were doing other artistic things, I was intimidated by them as Leon was intimidating. How quickly did you realize that he was just one of the cats and a really sweetheart guy, and then you guys were able to make beautiful music together?
Never. He was never one of the guys and a sweet guy. He was the Howard Hughes of the music business.
Wow.
I was able to dig deep enough to find that his intention, and way down deep, really, he liked to talk about soul food restaurants. He was funny, and I did find that, but only when he and I were alone. Anytime there was anybody else around, he was very protective, and we didn't have that close relationship. Two others, when nobody else was around, we were close. I think he wrote a song for me, and I didn't even know if it was for me, but now looking back, I think it was for me, called Hello Little Friend. And I said, I think that's about me. But I couldn't be sure at the time because he didn't let anybody get that close. He was up, but listen, you didn't have to be that close. When you're learning everything I was learning, he was as close as I could be. And at the same time, he was a tutor, a counselor, he was a sponsor. He was a mentor. He was all the things that I needed to learn And I didn't consciously think that. It's just that I just kept being knocked around like the Energizer Bunny, learning stuff. There was nothing that we did that I wasn't like, wow, I'm just so entertained. I wonder what's going to happen today. Yeah, because I'm going from the studio to setting mics. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my wife wants me to tell you about the closet. When I went over to Leon's, I didn't have a place to stay. I didn't have any money. And he wasn't there. And, what happened was I wrote him from my mother's house and said, Leon, I want to come out and work for your publishing company. Now, I thought he had a big building in Hollywood that was publishing. What the hell is that? Wow. And so I'm looking for a 20-story building in Hollywood, Leon Russell Publishing. Well, hell, there wasn't nothing, it didn't matter. All I got was would have a big hit record with Leon, big hit in Dallas, and then the band dissipated, okay? So I needed to figure out, what am I going to do? And I asked him, look, and so finally he said, listen, man, I don't know what I can do for you, but I'll tell you what I'll do. You come out here, and I'll listen to some songs and maybe figure out what we can do. So I went back out there. Well, when I got there, he wasn't there. And Jesse Ed let me in. So I'm sitting on the couch with Jesse Ed and Jerry, what was Jerry's name? Jerry played Walk Don't Run for the Ventures.
Yeah, Jerry Sheff, the bass player.
Jerry McGee.
Oh, Jerry McGee.
Yeah, Jerry McGee played Walk Don't Run and he played on my first album lead.
Wow.
I met Jerry McGee from Shreveport. Oh, and then I'm going to have to tell you the whole story of how Southern music came to Hollywood in the first place.
Yeah, no, this is just set one, so we're not going to rush into this.
I know. Please remind me though to tell you about Jerry McGee and James Burton. Okay.
Got it. You got it.
That's important because it ties in with Ozzie Nelson and how music got started from Texas and Oklahoma to Hollywood.
I want these regional connections. I want that story documented. So we'll do that part too. But yeah, no. So you get in there.
Okay.
Leon's Jesse Ed let you in, and you know. So go ahead. What
there
happened?
you go.
And what happened from there?
Okay. No. That triggered me. Yeah, he let me in the house, and I can't. Where's Leon? Leon's with Donna. Okay, who's Donna? Oh, Donna, she sings, and if I could tell you the name of the band she was in, they were pretty famous. They had a big hit, and they were a folk band. There was about 8 of them. I'm going to have to look that up, or you might be able to look it up. Her name was Donna Washburn.
Oh.
She was also an heir to 7-Up. She had the 7-Up money, millions, and so that was Leon's girlfriend. Well, he may not be back around for a while. He's with Donna. He'd show up once in a while. I said, okay. So I'm looking around. There's wires everywhere. It didn't resemble a house at all. Although, it resembled a house, but there was wires and boom stands in the living room and boards on the kitchen counters and boards in the little den. Studio completely torn apart and made for recording. And wherever you were, it could record you. So I wandered upstairs. Well, upstairs, it was plain and simple, looked like a regular house, a big king-size bed. Then I walk down the hallway, I see a door, I open it, and I look in there, and it's a gigantic walk-in closet. And it's empty, and it's got about a 4-foot ceiling on it, which goes down to about a foot as it curved down. And I thought, God damn, I'll get me a lava lamp and a sleeping bag, and I can fit right in there. This is home. And I went to some store and got me a sleeping bag and a lava lamp, and I moved in that closet. And I'm sleeping there, and I'm staying there, and I've been there about a week, and then Leon came home. I heard the front door. Every time that front door would open, boy, I was like, I got to get up and get out of the closet. So, yeah. I was sleeping on thin air there. And so he came home. Hey, how you doing? I said, I'm pretty good. He said, hey, man, yeah, good to see you. Good timing. I said, oh, yeah, good timing, good to be here. What are you going to do? I said, I don't know. I'm supposed to play you some songs, right? Yeah, I guess so. I'll go ahead. I'll be back this afternoon. He comes back. I played him a few songs. Yeah, pretty good. Well, I don't really know what I can do, man. I mean, you don't understand. I have a publishing company, but that just means I'm a publisher. You see what I mean? I mean, I just take your songs and try to help you get artists to record them and everything like that. That's about it, man. That's about it. So I don't really think I'm going to be able to help you. I said, yeah. He said, but you can live over there with Jesse and all those guys. They got this thing over there, and I'm going to try to remember the name of it. I should have written it down. Oh, God, man. They called it the, I don't know. I got to remember it. It's important. Called the campground or something. That wasn't it. That's stupid. But it was a big 2-story house. I think Taj Mahal has a picture where he's standing in front of it on one of his albums. And everybody lived in that house, deeper in the valley. He can live over there. I said, yeah, okay, well, I'll check with some of those. Same closet routine. He goes, man, your timing's pretty good. I just come back and forth, and you're here, you know. I said, isn't this a coincidence? He said, it really is a coincidence. What do you want to do? I said, well, I keep playing these songs, and I'd like you to help me with one. He said, you want me to help you finish writing one? I said, yeah. I said, you write the greatest bridges in the world. He said, that's my real name. I said, okay. That is his real last name. And so, anyhow, he helped me finish his song. And something clicked. Something clicked between him and me, and all my compliments to him. His little buddy who's really making him feel good about himself. Something really clicked, and he just was like, I think we ought to try to write a song again. I said, okay. He said, but I want to write some songs about whatever I want to write them about. I said, absolutely. He said, current events, man. I said, damn right, Vietnam. He said, yeah. So he comes and starts hanging out at the house more. Now we're watching TV. We watch a lot of the reels from Vietnam and the news. We're watching everything like that. Politics were hot, boy, and, you know, everybody was anti-everything. And, you know, and I don't have to explain it to you. We smoke a joint, grow your hair.
Well, the other thing, the other issue is that there was actually a draft. So you actually had you know, people from your neighborhoods that were, and you had a middle class. So you had real people. Everybody was connected to the atrocities of the war, and then what happened to the cats that were coming back. It was not a volunteer army with, you know, 1% of the population, and nobody knows anybody who's doing all the sacrifice. It was a different time.
That's right. I talked to a guy today. We were trying to figure out how many men died over there. I think he said, remember what he said? 58,000.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, So you.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
So you.
Well, I dodged it. I had a knee operation. I wanted to be a professional basketball player my whole life, but I turned out to be 5'7".
That's all right. I mean, you know, I mean, was it Muggsy?
But Bob Cousy was doing the deal.
Right.
Well, you know, a big dreamer, you know, so that didn't work, you know. I couldn't. Everybody started growing. I couldn't play basketball, but I had a knee injury that got me out of Vietnam. 4F. So that's how I was able to even go to California, because I had dodged the Vietnam bus, and I just got in that Chevy and took off and got there. How I got back on my own, I sold my amplifier in exchange for a ticket to L.A. The guy, Larry, what's Larry's last name? He sold Jimmy Vaughn. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering this stuff, but he sold everybody that was a real blues good player in Texas their amps and guitars. And I just remember going over to Garland to his shop all the time, and I will find out his last name. And he said, well, how much you want for the amp, Benno? I said, whatever it costs to get to L.A. I don't even want your money. I want an airplane ticket, Larry. He said, okay, you got it. Okay. In fact, I'm going to have the guy book you. You don't know how to book an airplane. Let me book you and get you a ticket. You go pick up the ticket and give me that amp. which was I love the amp. It was a 70, about a 63 Fender Blackface. Anyway, I did go back, and then I've lost track of what's going on now.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do, because I have another guest coming on now. So what I'm gonna get you this. This is part one of Benno and Feinberg.
Okay.
I'm gonna get you this just the way Karstein. I'm gonna send you a link so we can listen to it, and all the things in that oval that we need to tie up, we will do in part two.
Yeah, man, I think I should have talked more full circle.
No. It's fine. No, listen. The point is that I'm triggering things that you either haven't thought about in a long time, haven't talked about since they occurred. So it'll be very therapeutic to go back and then we can finish some of this stuff. And actually, you probably finished more than you even knew. So, Marc, Benno was.
There's not a whole lot left. There's not a whole.
No,
lot.
We haven't even gone to Keltner yet and the Studio Cat. So I mean, we have a lot to do.
No, there's only a few guys I met that weren't that important. Stevie Ray Vaughan that followed. So
well, listen, we'll set up. I'm going to be out of town next week, but maybe next weekend or the week after we'll pick up part two. But I'll get you a copy of this in the meantime.
Mighty fine.
All right. Much love to you, Benno. I'm glad you just keep cooking, man. We got more to do.
Oh, yeah. I'm starting to play live again, and I'm looking forward to part two, man.
Yeah, much love to you, man. Thanks for reaching out, dude. I never take solicitations, but, for Benno, it was...
I know you don't.
No.
Well, man, I didn't know how to reach out.
No. I mean, listen, I actually, this is the... So I broke it for that one time.
It's an honor to be on your show, Jake.
And Marc, it's an honor to have you on my show, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Legendary guitarist, guy who's been all around this world, Marc Benno. We'll be back momentarily with Mike Dillon on the Jake Feinberg Show.